This is Shaun Sport in podcast form.
Always a special time to have Jeremy McGovern in the house. Gov, good morning, mate. How are you?
Good. Thanks for having me.
Morning.
Hey, I want to start by talking about, it's been a tough week. It's been a tough couple of weeks for the West Coast Eagles, and during the week we had the funeral of Adam Selwood, which would have been heartbreaking. Can you describe how it was for you guys at the club and how you all try to bond together?
Yeah. Obviously, there's a fair bit of mixed emotion of, obviously, deep sadness. It's pretty devastating stuff. And the whole day was a beautiful tribute to him, for sure, and it was celebrated, but also at the same time it was heavy. It was a heavy day and very sad day.
Yeah.
But, it was great to see, obviously, a fair few of the old players and everyone turning out for him, but... overall, it was very, very sad.
Just gutting for that whole family, isn't it? Just brutal.
Yeah, absolutely feel for them. And, to do what they, even yesterday, the way that they were carrying themselves was extremely honourable. But it was, more sad than anything. But it was always, funerals suck, obviously, and those circumstances suck. But it's also great to see a lot of the old players floating around, the Coxies and Juddies and all those boys were there. And it's good to see them. Yeah,
it's a horrible reason to have a reunion,
shocking reason to do it, but it's always nice to see those boys.
Yeah, for sure.
It's such an interesting time for everybody who's been, when you go to a funeral, everyone's been, no one's affected by it, and particularly a life that's lost too early, and you hear people get up and talk about a person, and you reflect yourself, what a wonderful human that was.
Yes.
And all the love you have for that individual. You never tell them enough to their face.
No, that's right.
And I think about that all the time. Do you actually go out of your way, and is it only until funerals when that person cannot hear any of these stories that you reflect on how what an impact that they've had to you personally?
Yeah, no, we don't at all. Within the footy world or any world in general, no one really does, because everyone's just moving so fast.
Yeah,
we're all just,
exactly.
Everything's flat out.
Everyone's just getting on with it, aren't they?
Yeah, so maybe it's a good lesson for everyone.
Yeah,
to just try and do it. Tell everyone you love them.
No doubt about it.
We love you, Gov.
Yeah, we do, Gov. You are amazing, and we hope you can come back and play football. Who knows if that's going to happen? But at the moment, are you staying fit? You're staying involved?
Yeah, it's I've got to stay fit and train as much as I can without stirring myself up before this panel comes in. We still don't really know a firm date yet, but hopefully soon. Got to stay fit. So if
is this panel convening from all corners of the earth or something? What's going on there?
I think it actually is. I'm pretty sure there's obviously
international experts.
It's external from the AFL.
Yes.
So
presumably they're medical experts at the top of their field. You want the right people deciding your future.
They're not some random from just out the back of Perth
that's right. Just someone found down the 7-Eleven.
So I got to get all them together, and it's a bit of a process, but you respect it, and I've just got to stay fit and ready to go for post that.
Yeah. Are you in a position to push your fitness?
Not yet. As in, we don't want to stir myself up too much before this, but enough to.
And no thinking. You're not allowed to think. You're not allowed. You don't do the cryptic crossword or anything. I
don't do that anyway, so that's easy. But
Matt got the wordle in too, just the other day.
I don't want to go on about it, but it was pretty impressive.
Just trying to do as much as I can without getting too stirred up with a few things.
Gav, I was talking about the mid-season draft on Thursday in particular after, Wednesday's draft, and I love to see people get this opportunity and the emotion that showed. Tom McCarthy's one guy that's coming over to play. He surely looks like he can play footy.
Yeah, a few of the highlights I've seen, he looks really sharp, so...
And it's lucky the Eagles picked him up because his mate had dressed as the Eagle. So if Eagles didn't pick him up, that was a very awkward just to shuffle him out of sight.
I'd like to hope the club gave him a heads up. Just look after his mate.
Yeah, well, he did say that he knew that it was a very well kept, well guarded secret, but he knew that's what was going to happen.
Yeah.
So
that's great.
They'd obviously assured him. Yeah.
The mid-season's awesome. It just gives everyone a good opportunity and
some great stories over the years too.
Yeah, big time. And we've had a couple of great boys come in. Ryan Marrick.
Remember when Jai Cully had been working in a chicken shop and then he...
Well, that's all those stories. Jai, Ryan and Jack.
Yeah.
And now Tom. Look, you've had some good results.
Yeah, I think it's great. And it's just great for the broader AFL and football community that boys that are playing in VFLs
Everybody
or waffles and stuff.
As a fairy tale, basically, of someone who's been overlooked and then plucked from obscurity almost to come and play. It's so good.
We reap the benefits, but the VFLs and waffles would be filthy because most of the time they're probably taking your better player.
Yes, for sure. Halfway through the season.
But it's great for everyone to keep pushing and just keep trying. So it's I really like it. I think it's a great thing the AFL's doing.
Gav, what's your chicken store job you had before?
You wouldn't believe it. I was chicken treat.
No, you too?
I swear to God, yeah.
Were you back of house?
Which one?
Or front?
Nah, I was back of
On
house.
the fryer?
I was just absolutely
Microwaving everything.
Clinic on out the back there. The best chickens you've ever seen.
Really?
Hey, you see him take a mark like his hands are brilliant.
I'll do the whole lot. Yeah, it was. Chicken treat was my first job.
Which store?
It was in Albany.
Yeah, right. Albany
down
Chicken
south. So
what a dream gig.
Yeah, I had
how many times
full
did mates
career-
come through the drive-through?
I had a full career progression. I was moving into management the whole way.
Oh, wow.
When I was
So
a bit
you had
younger.
a future assured. But weren't you digging a hole when you got the call to say
Yes.
you'd been drafted?
So Dad made me go do that as a job, and then when I got moved to Perth, I'd become a tradie. So that was when I was at school.
Yeah, right.
I was working at chicken treat. I was probably eating more than I was figuring out.
There was a bit of criticism about your weight when you were first drafted, wasn't there? And Chicken Treat might be
that's
responsible
Probably
for
fair
that.
enough. They were working at chicken treat and drinking 2-litre Cokes for lunch. So.
Do you remember what your hourly rate was when you?
It was $5.20 or something. I reckon.
Yeah.
Nice.
I worked at McDonald's behind the scenes as well, and it was $5.15 an hour.
My apprenticeship was $280 a week.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's the same money you're on now, isn't it?
Yeah,
Very
similar.
similar.
Very similar.
when you were playing and coming through Claremont, because I always, it's special for those guys to change the course of their life in a short period of time. But we were talking about it just the other day about people who get overlooked, that you go, and when you've played in the waffle, you go, oh, he could play in the AFL.
Yeah.
Did you play with any guys that you thought would have been, play at the next level when you were coming through Claremont?
Yeah, there was a few. One of my good mates, Benny Saunders, was down at South Free. Won a few. Is it Bernialis, the leading goalkeeper? Whatever the leading goalkeeper is for the waffle. I don't know the medal. He won a heap of them.
Yeah.
And I always thought he'd be around the mark. He was around the mark of the AFL, but never really got an opportunity. So there's always heaps. There's heaps of players. You're thinking, how the hell was this?
Those tragic tales it could have been.
The ruckman at Claremont at the moment is probably one.
Yeah, Ollie
Eastland.
Eastland.
Yeah, I'm watching him going, for surely he's going to get an opportunity. But there's plenty. There's plenty. And the thing is, even if it's not this year, if they keep going, there's still a chance.
Yeah. And we talked a bit yesterday about the little fella, Milan Murdoch.
Yeah. He was getting thrown around. Did he end up getting...
No, West Coast, your team, had an interview with him before they picked up the guy from South Australia, Jacob.
Yeah.
Newton. Yep.
Newton. But we were talking about, because he's only a small guy, but he's won 3 Simpson medals and a premiership inside the last 2 years.
Yeah. It baffles you how they're not getting an opportunity. I don't know what
do you have to do?
But it's obviously AFL-wide. It's not just West Coast is not picking him up.
Sure, of course. Nobody else did either.
And you always wonder. You're always just thinking, why?
Like, what do you have to do?
Tim Kelly was another one who just played for so long, and then Geelong finally took a punch on him. And
it wasn't Matt Prittis. He was in this similar scenario. He was overlooked several times, wasn't he?
100%.
Yeah,
100%.
he's a Brownlow medalist.
Because people have a nick, and then all the recruiting guys, they sit on the outer flank,
Talk
and they
to
all
one
kind of
another.
half sit next to him.
What do you think of him?
Yeah, and they do, and he can't do this.
Yeah.
And then someone else says the same thing.
Yeah.
You don't know. I don't know the recruiting side, but it does seem like the negative gets brought to the front before all the positive. He does everything right, but this thing is the only reason he's not going to play.
And Pritter, so Brownlow medalist, but also just a ripping bloke. Just from a teammate point of view, and he's never once again one of those people never going to get into any trouble.
Never.
So you go, what?
Brownlow medalist, mate.
Brownlow medalist. Nearly got overlooked for the league. It's incredible.
No, he got overlooked all the time.
Yes, that's right.
And it was like the Eagles took this big plunge at the time. I'm so glad they did.
Yeah.
But no one was willing to give him a chance.
Crazy.
We've had a lot of not
bias
just
against curls, obviously.
late pick, but rookies as well. When the rookies were on, like Coxie, Chad Fletcher, Lynchy, myself. Pritter was obviously very late.
Yeah.
That's just our team. There's a lot of later picks.
Those stories everywhere. Yeah, it's not all about the number one draft pick, is it?
No, they're always good, but there's nothing better than that diamond in the rough.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm with you 100%. Now, the game against Geelong on Sunday, another testing one. They're up and about. They always seem to be a team at the top of the pops every single year.
Yeah, they're an amazing outfit, really. They're always up there.
They never have to rebuild. Oh, what is that?
Yeah, I don't know. I'd be getting in those four walls and finding out how they do it. But they're obviously quality team.
Yeah.
And, they're very up and about at the moment, so it'd be a massive challenge for us. But it's good to have them over here. We're normally going to Geelong to play them there, and it's even harder. But so it'd be good. Late Sunday arvo.
Late Sunday arvo, because we've got a long weekend, so they put it later. And the other part, obviously, with Jake being out for the season now with that shoulder injury, that's another blow, which means Oscar's got to carry the load.
Yeah.
Archer Reed in the forward line, he's got to take a couple of grabs, kick a few goals.
Yeah, there's a bit more responsibility on those boys now, but
they can stand tall.
That's footy, isn't it? That's what we've got to do and what we've got to deal with. So hopefully those boys can take that opportunity for us, and I'm sure someone else will come in. Jack Willow's been going really well in the waffle, so opportunity opens up when Jakey goes out, but sucks.
Oh, I know, and for the whole season. So full reconstruction. Has he had the surgery yet, or it's?
I think he's going in
any minute now.
Today, I think he's going in today to get it sorted. So I'll send him
all the best to him.
A golf link. Send if you want to go over here to golf, but he can't at the moment.
Now's the time to get him. You might be able to beat him.
Tell you what I would do once he's down and knocked out for the operation. Would you take the scissors out and give him a haircut?
Yeah,
it's not the best ever hair.
It looks like he's been under and someone's sort of given him one.
It's a joke, for sure.
Hey, Gov, really appreciate your time coming in and sharing that with us as well. What's been happening at the club and for you personally. So
no worries. Thanks for having me.
Shaun Sport in podcast form.
Well, the Fremantle Dockers in action tomorrow morning up at the GC, Nat. Good times up there, generally.
Sun's shining, I bet.
No, they're expecting rain.
Oh, I didn't put any money on it.
Oh, well, Jordan Clarke, this is no problem at all because you dominated in the rain last weekend.
Yeah, no, it was a good win, and usually our rain history hasn't been that great. So, no, it was good to get one back, and can't wait.
It did actually belt down while you were playing last weekend. What's it like when it really starts to, like a torrential downpour? What's it like to play in?
Oh, I'll be honest with you. I was playing in half back and we were kicking a lot of goals, so it was pretty cold and wet down my end. I didn't have much to do.
Just jogging on the spot to keep warm?
Yeah, just running on and off to the bench to try and keep warm.
Yeah. Oh, it is better though.
Spent most time on the bench trying to stay out of the rain.
I would too, who needs a sub? I'm off.
Exactly.
That would be no worries. Hey, the good news during the week, we were able to see that Alex Pearce was able to get off and play this weekend, which is great because the matchup with Ben King's always going to be important. But more so, I don't know if I'm going too deep, but for the fabric of the game going forward?
No, you're not going too deep. I 100% agree with you. I think, the way the game's going, if Alex had have been suspended there in 3 weeks, I would have really questioned where the game's probably headed because I thought it was a outright footy contest, no malice in it at all. And Alex is the captain of our club, so he's not someone who's, going out to hurt people or, do the wrong things or vow the wrong things. He's a pin-up leader of our football club. So, I think that I'm great to see that it was overturned and common sense sort of prevailed at the end of the day.
How hard is it, Jordan, in that moment? Because I know that in other cases they've said, you've got a duty of care to the player and your opposition player, and you might have to adapt the way that you play. But when you're going hard for the ball, are you just blinkered or are you aware of the people around you?
It sort of depends who you are. Some people are better at that sort of thing than others. But I do believe in a contest like that, both players have a duty of care. I think in this day and age, if you're running back with a flight with not knowing what's coming the other way, I think that's almost more of a duty of care that you hold than the guy actually with the rite of passage to run at the ball because he can sort of see what's in front of him. So, I think, it was a great contest and it's so much courage shown by both players.
Yeah.
But, like I said, I think both players hold a duty of care and I think the guy who's actually running back with a flight at times probably needs to be a little bit more of the one who pulls out of that contest rather than the bloke running out the footy.
Yeah, it's interesting. Is it a thing, Jordan, where as a player group and AFL players that you can speak to the Players Association about future suspensions or the way the game's looking? Is that ever a conversation?
I think it can be. I think we haven't had the AFLPA really come out this year, but they will at some point. And I dare say it will be a massive topic of conversation, given that footy acts like that and things are leading to such big consequences, and it's not just the 3 games that have missed. It's like if Alex had been suspended, it's a month out of the game with the bye in between.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
And, for some other young players, they don't get paid, they miss an opportunity, and it could end up impacting their career massively over a contest that, is a proper footy contest. So, yeah, I think there's obviously, don't get me wrong, the head and concussion stuff needs to be looked after, and there is a space for that in the game. But, I think that some of the decisions can fall either way, and, I think we were just lucky to get one to swing our way.
One of the things that they were talking about, Nat, when a lot of the shows were discussing Alex Pearce's situation, people were making a case for the fact that he could get off like Patrick Dangerfield has in the past because he could express himself better than a lot of the other guys do.
Oh, because he just talks better.
Yeah. And he can talk about the emotions and the situational play, and therefore he's got a better way of better chance of
advocating for himself and convincing. So if you're an eloquent speaker, exceptions are made for you.
Yeah. The big dog.
No comment there, but if that's the case, I'd be done for 5 weeks.
You're screwed, John. You're screwed.
Hey, John, back on your podcast. I wanted to talk about your podcast because I saw that you had the great Jeff Farmer on last week. Of course, the Wizard designed the jumper, the Fremantle played in, the Yallop jumper.
Yeah.
Yallop jumper, should I say. How was the Wizard and talking to him?
Nah, he's the only bloke I've ever seen out-talk Emma O'Driscoll, so it was great.
I mean, that is a decent effort.
No, but a funny little thing was, how he was talking about the Willy Wagtail, the Chitty Chitty, how it's a lucky totem for him.
Yes.
No word of a lie. I sent the photo into our group chat, a podcast group chat on game day. I reversed out of my driveway to get a coffee and landed on my front fence. It was a Willy Wagtail as I was reversing out. It was just like, couldn't believe it.
Yeah, one's been coming into our house on
I have one coming to my house too.
Lately.
Yeah.
And hearing Jeff, because it only kind of registered with me when I heard.
Yes. But apparently they're not lucky for everyone, Sean. So maybe you're getting an unlucky one.
It's probably
sounds more like it.
Probably explains it. The Wizard.
The Wizard, I know. How good.
He's one of those guys, Jordan, when he walked into a room when you're flat right, so you've had a big running session or training session, and you've got gym later on the day, and you just think to yourself, how am I going to get myself up? And he walks in the room and he says something ridiculous, starts laughing, and that's it. You're away.
That's why it's called the Wizard.
Is there any other guys like that who can lift a group?
There's a couple. Paddy Voss is a bit like that. Look, you can throw to Luke Jackson and Jeremy Sharp at times for some
light relief.
Really funny stuff, but if JL puts them on the spot at times, it can lead to a funny comment here and there, or a bit of a deer in the headlight sort of moment. So, I think the coaches know who their players are and what they need. They've always got it up their sleeve. So, no matter the time, you can always find someone to pull something out of the bag and get the group up and about.
Paddy Voss is becoming this cult hero.
Already.
These days.
But nobody really talked about him before this season.
No.
Really. No, it's just he's really coming to his own.
His celebrations and the way he plays, Clarkey.
Yeah, no, he's just. I love playing with him. I certainly walk taller. He's tough. He's strong, and he's all that you love in a teammate. Apart from the free kicks he gives away all the time. But in all due respect, I do love playing with him, and I love him in our side, and I think we're a better team without him. I think, when he got suspended and we didn't have him for 3 weeks, we probably played some of our worst footy because, he's so important to us with the role he plays, but the energy he brings as well.
Yeah, I got no doubt. The first game that he missed was against Melbourne. You would have won that game if he was playing because that was a tight one.
Love your work, Geordie. Good luck against the Suns.
No worries, guys. Have a good one.
Good on you, Clarky.
See you, mate.
See you later.
Shaun Sport is a Nova podcast. For more great comedy shows like this, head to novapodcast.com.au.